Kia ora whānau and welcome to our very first edition of the Playmakers, your go-to hub for the most exhilarating moments in the world of sports. I'm your host Hayley Munro, and today we'll be recapping Dudley AFC's nail-biting ending to the historical football game. We are also blessed to be joined by special guest, star player and MVP Noah Hodman, to give us his inside hot takes from the season and final. And to top it off, we'll be visiting the adrenaline-filled world of combat sports and the UFC. Muay Thai expert Coach Sons and Coach V will be breaking down two monumental knockouts from this past weekend at UFC Fight Night. So to kick it off, first half, let's look at Dudley AFC's intense run to their most historical season yet. Kick back, grab your foam rollers and get ready for our debut episode. This is the Playmakers.
Over his head.
Dambo, forget the ball.
If Dan was a little bit shorter, he would have scored that. Oh. He scored that.
What a dramatic yet disappointing end to an almost perfect season for Dudley. Joining us at the panel now is Dudley player Brennan Webb and legend of the game and pro sports analyst Matt Suddy. Matt and Brennan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
What a fantastic season Dudley FC has had. However, unfortunately, after a long unbeaten streak, it didn't end in silverware. Brennan, as a player and Matt as a legend of the game, what was the catalyst of such a long win streak?
I think it was the chemistry that the boys had. It looked like they played really, really well together. They clearly took the off-season seriously. I think the team bonding really, really paid off, and I think that was shown in the first part of that season where they just went unbeaten for so long.
Yeah, going into the final though, I think they were sort of plagued by their overconfidence. They just, in the locker room, I can only imagine that they were thinking they were just untouchable, going the entire season like invincible.
Definitely.
Yeah, I see a lot of correlations with the Bayer Leverkusen season, both going invincible and then, when it's about time to bring it home, you lose in the final. It's gut-wrenching.
It's they just had the choke disease, They just couldn't pull it off.
And now tell me about finals day. It seemed as if it was becoming the fairy tale ending you all had dreamed of. A large win over local rivals in the quarters, then a scrappy yet hard-earned victory in the semis. In your opinions, what led to Dudley FC short in the grand final?
Personally, watching the game, what I'd put it down to is, I think you're definitely right. They just were way too overconfident going into it, expected the win, and it showed in their performance. I'd also just like to, the key players disappeared within the match, likes of Blake Murphy and Sam Ball. Sam Ball needs to have the armband stripped off him. It was an abysmal performance from him, and I think it showed when the team lost. He wasn't able to pull the direction together and get the boys riled up.
Yeah, if he doesn't, bring the team together in the locker room, why should he have the captain's armband?
Exactly, thank you, yeah.
Exactly. So next season, they need to bring in these new star players, some people that can really breathe fresh air into the club.
100%. I think we saw that with the likes of Brooklyn Holding entering the team this year, but I think we need a better keeper, I think, is what they're looking for. I think the fact that he was unable to make the last few games really showed off, especially with all those the goals that they conceded in the final. It just, can't happen.
Yeah, from what I've saw throughout the season, there was quite a lot of changeover in the goalkeeper position. It
definitely.
seemed that they just couldn't hold down a singular man.
Yeah.
And so I guess that kind of contributed to just not being able to put forward a consistent performance.
Exactly. I think that it comes down to putting pen to paper, get a contract signed, lock in the players that you need instead of just letting them go. It's just disappointing to see from the management, to be honest.
Yeah, that's disappointing, 100%.
Well, thank you so much for that, guys. We'll be coming back to you. Great stuff, boys. We will catch up with you again in just a moment. However, we're not done with Dudley just yet. Star player and MVP Noah Hobman sat down with our very own Locke van Bruggen to express his thoughts on the season.
Hi, I'm Locke van Bruggen, and today I'm joined here by Noah Hobman, veteran and star player of the notorious Dudley AFC. So Noah, I'd like to ask you, you've got on the pitch, obviously you're a player. Off the pitch, what's your involvement with the Dudley AFC franchise?
Yeah, I've been playing for them for a while now, always been around the team. I'd say potentially one of the founding members.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a big part of me and this football journey to be a part of this group.
Brilliant. And last season was the first season under new ownership. What was that like for you and the other players? Did you notice too many differences, or did most things sort of fly as normal?
Yeah, it was pretty normal actually. Yeah, we brought in a few players, a few change-ups here and there, but altogether the core group of who was there was still the same.
Cool. And during coming up to the pre-season, everybody's tense and stressed. Did that resonate much in the around the team?
No, we actually had quite a good pre-season. Actually, we did a little tournament for our team. We did well. We didn't do as good as we wanted to, but we did well. And I'd say that going into our actual season, our spirits were high.
And what were the team's expectations going into the season then? You said your spirits are high, and they must have been boosted a lot by the addition of Oliver Koenig and Brooklyn Holding.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, those players that we brought in, they added something to the team. They added a depth, and we were confident that we were going to perform well and take something home this year.
Brilliant. And your first game of the season, it was against your rivals. How did that one pan out for you?
Yeah, so I was actually away. I was injured for this game, and the boys unfortunately lost. It was quite upsetting, apparently. But all we could do from then on was move forward. The only step was up.
And the last game of the 2023 season was the Orewa Derby. And how did you find that with the pressure of the derby on?
Yeah, we'd already versed them once previously in the season. It was just another game. We went into it just another game. We brought out all the fans. We brought out all the memorabilia, the flags. We filmed it. We analysed it, and we played. We played really strong, and we played for each other.
And would you say you've got a very active fan base then?
Yeah, I'd say so. We have a few people that come to the games quite often that support us, and it's good to have them there.
Would you say they're on par with Dortmund's Yellow Wall?
Ooh, I'd say so. For the Dudley, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And after the Christmas period, you guys went unbeaten for 7 games leading up to the final day. Do you think this kind of made you guys feel a bit too complacent with how you were going into the final game? Was there a bit of an overconfidence amongst the team, or?
Yeah, I'd say potentially there was. We'd maybe hadn't have played the best opposition. There may have been a couple boys too excited, too eager to win. Little things go out the window,
Mm-hmm.
And I think potentially, it could have crept in a little complacency.
And with the finals recently happening at the beginning of 2024, what happened in the first 2 games, the quarterfinals and the semi-finals? How did you feel going into those?
Yeah, I felt amazing. The quarterfinals, I got man of the match. It was a good performance from the boys. It was against our rivals, actually. Yeah, so it was another derby. And we won that quite convincingly. It was a very good game. And then the semi-final, it was a crazy game. There was tackles flying in everywhere. Somebody yelled on the sideline, slide tackles are allowed. Then next thing you know, you're pushing boys over. It gets rowdy. But we were victorious, and we moved on to the final. Yeah.
Brilliant. And in the final against Hoyts FC, what happened?
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame to talk about, really. We just weren't good enough on the day. It was a tough game. They went 2-0 up. We brought it back to 2-2. They scored. We scored, and then they scored 2 more. They pretty much edged it, really. Yeah, disappointingly.
Goals flying left and right. It must have been an exciting game for the fans, though.
Oh yeah, it was. They were proud of us. We put up a good fight. but it just wasn't enough.
So after that loss, one next question then. What's next for Dudley AFC?
Yeah, we're coming for it. We have to win this season. There's nothing else for us.
Well, best of luck to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be back next week with another brilliant guest.
What a special team. I'm sure this isn't the last we'll see from Dudley AFC. We're all very excited to see the magic they can pull off next year. But now it's time to shift gears into the realm of combat sports. Muay Thai prospects Coach Sons and Coach V are here to break down two monumental knockouts from Derek Lewis and Esteban Robovic in last weekend's UFC Fight Night.
Hey, what up everyone? Welcome back to the episode of MMA Minute. Yeah, it's Coach Sons here, and today I'm joined by Crew View, straight from Thailand. And in this episode we'll be going over the previous UFC Fight Night between Derek Lewis and Rodrigo, and also a fight in the early prelims, Terrence against Esteban, and how ultimately both of these fights ended in a knockout. So, in the Derek Lewis's fight, around I think the beginning of the third round, Derek Lewis goes to throw a jab, and at the same time that Derek Lewis throws a jab, Rodrigo throws a long hook, and the hook is then countered by an overhand. Now,
game over, pretty much.
yeah, that was game over.
Yeah.
He went to sleep after.
Yeah.
He got
Contract gone.
Contract gone.
Yeah.
He went sort of like cussing, and next thing you know, he's getting hit on the ground like that.
Exactly.
But that's how the fight basically ended. Yeah, what about the second fight?
So the thing about Esteban was he's in southpaw, right? He throws across in southpaw, and this is when Terrence tries to counter. Boom, right? But Esteban takes another step, throws another one. But this is where Terrence misses, completely open, and then Esteban throws a kick. Goodbye, calls his mom. I'm sorry, I failed you.
Thank you guys for watching today. Coach Sons out. And thank you to Review for coming in. I'll see you guys in the episode.
Awesome breakdown, boys. Let's take a quick look at the rest of the action from last weekend's event before Matt and Brennan give us their thoughts.
Lights are shut. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event.
That left hook did it again. There's so much power with that thing.
Fans absolutely love him.
What a crazy weekend. A major highlight from St. Louis was New Zealand's own Carlos Hjulberg, earning his 6th consecutive win via knockout in just 12 seconds. What do you want to see from Carlos, and how far can you see his potential taking him?
I think it's hard to talk about where he's going to go without talking about that fight first off.
Oh yeah, 100%. So Manifield, I don't know what he was doing. He like chased him, trying to give him like a bear hug or something, and he just trips forward and just gives the biggest opening for just a mean left hook.
Absolutely.
And like after just being knocked down, he looked, Manifield was like, oh, all dazed and stuff like that, and then just finished off another one.
I think he closed the distance and just ended the fight. He knew exactly what he had to do. I think it was an incredible performance.
it's entertaining, isn't it?
As far as what I'd like to see from him in the future, I think I'd want to see him. I think he's in the right weight division. I do want to see him fight some tougher opponents, though. I think he's got the tools to become a champion, and I really want to see him use them.
Yeah, with that six fight win streak, he'll definitely be making his way up the scales.
For sure. It's hard to be ignored. I think Dana White is going to be definitely looking out for the guy, and it's great to see some NZ representation in the UFC, for sure.
100%.
Very nice. Where do you think you see him going?
I think it's definitely got to be a championship. I think he's got to work his way towards that, and I think he started and...
That's all very interesting, but I'm so sorry I'm going to have to cut you off there. It looks like our debut episode has gone the distance. From the highs and lows of Dudley's hectic footy season to the adrenaline-filled action in the octagon. It has been a pleasure having you with us. I've been your host, Hayley Munro, and this has been The Playmakers. Cheers.